Hi everyone, my name is Rosemary, and I wanted to pop on here and wish you all a very, very belated Happy New Year. You'll know from my posts, if you've seen them, that I had COVID, and I had it for 5 weeks, and it was a pretty bad case. But anyway, and as a result of it, I posted quite a bit because I was in bed with my phone so much of the time. But anyway, very belated Happy New Year. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. So I was born in England, in Cambridge, and spent my childhood in Southeast London, and then moved to Canada with my family, and have been living in Canada ever since. And even though my life has been in Canada, I have to say that the Mexican culture has played a massive role in my life for, well, over 35 years. And so that is also a really big part of my life. Anyway, the main project that I've been working on for the last 4 years is called The Girl on Harlow Street. And this is a serial novel. It is set in England, flip-flops between modern day England and Victorian England. And this novel at the moment is running on Patreon, which is a subscription-based platform, one episode per week, lots of behind-the-scenes content, and a monthly video and a monthly newsletter. However, on top of that project, which is the sort of the main massive project, this year I'm going to be looking at the mind of the writer and the psychology of writing. And I'll be doing that on YouTube, and I'll also be doing it here on LinkedIn, probably mostly on YouTube. And in that project, I'm going to be taking behaviors which would be considered to be unhealthy off page. And I'm thinking behaviors like detachment from reality, narcissism, obsession, infatuation, delusion and things like that. But then look at how once you examine those things through the role of art, how a writer may or may not have to practice some of those things while they're writing. And another thing that I'm going to do in this is I'm going to argue both sides. So I'm going to argue that yes, a writer has to do these things, and no, a writer doesn't have to do these things. And my reason for doing that is when you're writing a novel, and a big one, you have a whole ensemble of characters that you have to manage. And stories are based on conflict, and so you have characters in conflict, and as the writer you have to jump in to those characters who are in opposition with one another and play both sides. So essentially you're arguing with yourself. And so I thought that would just be a really interesting thing to do, to examine these things, but then to prove that they are and that they are not also. So really excited about that. It looks like there'll be another podcast with the marketer for The Girl on Harlow Street, Erica Roldan, and the editor, Kendrick Whelan. And I also have an interview lined up with a Mexican journalist and novelist. Well, she's a British, I say British Mexican, she's a British journalist and novelist, but she's lived in Mexico for a long time. And I'm going to be talking with her in the spring about, well, the psychology of writing. And also, you're probably going to see some more Spanish-based, Mexican-based posts as well, simply because, well, during COVID, the walls came down on that, and it looks like I'll continue forth with that because it's been such a massive part of my life. So I'm going to do this in Spanish also in a separate video because I need to flex those language muscles. And yeah, so, thank you for listening, and Happy New Year, and watch this space.